probably. Where are they selling concerts? I don't see any over there. Like, what's my sound there? Yeah. We're doing a concert.
15 years ago, I was the very first sailor.
I like Sailor Bubba.
We did a skit.
Yeah, elaborate on that.
I'll reveal this history to you now, young folks. Back at Persacon 95, there wasn't at that time no such thing as cross players.
Oh,
I know. Well, maybe there was like Peter Brown. I'll give that to him. And I'm not Peter Long, the fellow that used to use the shampoo all the time in Asheville, California. So I do take that back. He was the original. However, there was this baited contest that was run by a magazine called An America. That at the time they had these two twin brothers named Chad and Brad Dietrichs that were literally their fanboy mascots, unofficially, so to speak. But then they did officially become mascots. And what An America decided to run was they wanted these guys to get into an anime con dressed as characters. So they requested that the readership send in suggestions of what the two twin brothers should dress as. And I knew these guys personally myself. And so I know that at one point I was just joking around with them, and because I'd asked them, like, so how's this contest going? Anything being turned in? And the weird thing was, yes, there were suggestions being turned in, but they were the exact same suggestions from all over the country. It was basically dress up as Rama and dress up as another character that was in Rama. It was like Rama and Kuma or something like that. Just these two male characters from that show, but it was the exact same suggestion. So if they had chosen Rama and Kuma, there would have been like 20, 30 hey, that's my suggestion, that's my suggestion. In other words, sending it different. It was the exact same thing. It was this weird X-File conspiracy that everybody, we were running out of stage.
It's not a chain letter and everybody's doing something.
What's in 1995, you mean like 8 people? Or maybe, either were those 12 cosplayers at Otakon #1, So anyway, what happened was, I was just sitting there BSing with them. I was thinking about never doing that way. But since I know you guys, of course I didn't do it, right? And they said, what were you going to tell? What were you going to suggest? And I looked right at them, and they were both blonde, skinny little boy. And I said straight out, without skipping a beat, I would say, Sailor Venus. Sailor Moon, right? Of course I went, hey guys, you did, etc., etc. Right? So we left it at that. We all had a big laugh, a big chuckle. Didn't think nothing of it. Now, I should have known something was up because I had this anime still painting panel thing that I was doing at a place called Comic Anime back in the days up in Woodbridge, Virginia. But every Friday night, since I was as an animator, I would come to this comic book shop. That was a fledgling anime comic book store back in those days. And we had Friday night art sessions, teaching kids how to paint and draw, cartoons. And so these guys would come and visit there every Friday night. So we would do the self-painting, and then after the kiddies went home, we would just have a good old time and eat at Silver Diner and just bullshit and have a good time. Well, I didn't know that over a period of a couple of months, they were secretly taking my measurements. It's like, hey man, by the way, you're pretty robust for a Japanese fella, so what size neck do you think you'd be? I'm like, I'm 17. Well, back in I was 17 now. I think back then it was like 15 and a half or something. And whatnot. And they were smart too, because not only were they kind of, trotting around, but they had their girlfriends always coming to the event and just hanging out, having a good time with us. But they were the ones that were able to go like, gosh, Steve, and they would give me hugs and stuff, like greetings, hello, and but what they were doing was going,
That's awesome.
so they were doing these secret measurements. So a couple of months had gone by, and it was getting close to the deadline for announcing, the winner and whatever the costumes they were going to do. And so I remember finally at one point asking them, so how's that contest coming along? Are you guys still fated to be Kuno and Mama? And they go, no, actually, we don't let anyone know what we're doing. I said, sure, I'm excited to knit. And they go, we're doing Sailor Venus and Sailor Moon. So I busted out. I said, so finally somebody else get up on that idea and sent it in. They go, no, actually, everybody was still requesting Kuno and Rama, and so we took your idea. I was like, wait a minute, fellas, I didn't enter the contest. They said, no, the people at Biz had no problem with it being a proxy suggestion, so to speak. And I said, dude, I know you want to do we can't, you can't, no. And they said, no. We decided that a kid named Brand X or something like that. They gave, now you guys know the full story, but they gave just a BS different name. So of course it was not worth cronyism, good friends sent you an idea that, told them what the base and I was perfectly fine with that because I was like, no, I don't want to be the winner because it just looked weird and whatnot. Plus, I didn't want to be known as the guy that started this whole thing.
You're telling them on the camera.
Now it's everybody. Like 20 years later, we can talk about this. So, long story short, don't make these that So what they said was, well, we liked your suggestion best. It was funny and so what literally happened was there was a group of 12 that eventually got in on the whole thing. And so that's when they started revealing that Randy was going to be Sailor Jupiter and Rob was going to be Sailor Mars and all these different characters, all these different guys that I knew that were buddies of theirs were all coming together to do this whole big Sailor Senshi skit, or this big Senshi group. And then they said, and then the last character that we have is Sailor Mercury. And you won't believe who we got to play Sailor Mercury. I'm like, oh yeah. Just like I'm going through all their they had like everybody cast, the whole 9 yards, man. And they go, Sailor Mercury's going to be you. I was like, what? And then they went and told me about the secret. And not only that, but they got my wife. So she was the one that gave him like, yeah, his measurements are X, Y, and Z. No problem. Here's the shoes. So, my wife, Red Fink, we're in on this. So at the time, I was a lot skinnier and thinner, but I had a beard and mustache because I used to do civil war in it, and so I had the Robert song going on. So what was happening is that at the anime conventions, I would, of course, the day for the skit was to happen. It was at Persacon the following year, 96. And of course, everybody at that point was used to seeing me with a beard and a mustache. And what I had done is I had shaved it off right before going down to the contest. And I was one of the judges. So, of course, the skit was going to be last or non-judged, just for fun, shits and giggles. And how nobody noticed it was me.